please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Captain's log, subdates 230403.2. The cloning vats are primed, and all NPC crew have been lined up to be cloned at least 3 times. Some don't want to be cloned. They will be neuralized, and then they will be compelled. Hello everyone, welcome to This Week at Twitter! Or twat. Let's try and do this with my avatar for a change. I ran out of steam in time recently. Sorry about that. To start, Joyce McMillan. Today at The Scotsman, in an age of increasing toxic and irrational right-wing leadership, Nicola Sturgeon at least talked highly articulate social democratic sense about the challenges facing Scotland and the world. Small wonder Scots keep voting for her... Fun fact, an increasing toxic and irrational right-wing leadership, you are only referring to the Conservative Party of the United Kingdom. In a grander scheme, the leadership prevailing theme at the moment, certainly in Europe, is more left-leaning, because to be conservative in a number of those nations is to be haram. Also, Nicola Sturgeon got ousted for her gender act. As you can tell, I take this super serial. She also had to go because she failed. The Supreme Court of the United Kingdom said, "Nah bitch, you ain't getting your independence vote." Yet whenever she was told no, she kept on trying. You live in a one-party system where your new First Minister literally hates white people, yet they make up 95% of Scotland. But your cultural enrichment fabric is so important. I will, for those who are interested, link the article down below. It is actually written by Joyce McMillan, which does explain quite well how dumb she is. Additionally, as an opinion columnist writer, which is what Joyce McMillan is, it is worth adding the Scotsman generally doesn't hold Nicola Sturgeon in much regard. Problem you have is, you're a one-party system. You really are. And you are desperately trying to force through independence, which if your new leader Humza Yousaf is smart, he will forego for the time being. Because if he pushes that button now, he is more than likely going to end up getting absolutely battered. Like a Mars bar. So let's now move over to some of the trending tags. We've got a couple. We'll start with the most obvious. Chris Chan was trending. For those who don't know, Chris Chan diddled their mother. Chris Chan has been held in prison ever since. Chris Chan has lost a considerable amount of weight. Apparently, Chris Chan has gone even more insane while incarcerated. Chris Chan no doubt has caused an aneurysm for Gino Samuel, because the saga continues. The dimensional merge no doubt will happen at some point soon. For Chris Chan's sake, that really does need to be soon, because isn't it in August they're going to be on trial? Isn't it then? No idea what Chris Chan does if Chris Chan is somehow successful, but for the sake of it, we can play it as if that's not what needs to be spoken of today. You see, Chris Chan was trending for a number of reasons. Somebody had tweeted, "Who's the first player you think of when you see this shirt?" Replies, Chris Chan. Others posting, Sega have confirmed Sonic's hands are blue underneath the gloves. Chris Chan breaking out of prison upon receiving the news. This isn't why Chris Chan was trending though. No. It was because, and I'll quote Magnus here with this rather beautiful picture of George Bush finding out about 9/11, Chris Chan's been released from jail on bond. Not even a joke. I love, by the way, on this little release thing you have Christine Weston Chandler, age 41. That's impressive. Gender, male. And much like everyone else, I guess, due to the current status, updates on this record are no longer available. If you have any questions, contact the facility. I have a number of questions. Mine center around who on earth posted Bond? Who did that? Be honest, raise your hand. Was it you? Did you help Chris Chan escape? Is Chris Chan now about to enact their final vision as they are their Jeebus of their realm and turn into their Chris Chan Sonichu form, get together with Mewtwo and Magic-chan and all the other husbands and wives they have and live happily ever after wherever it is they go? Quickville? Is that it? Bit of a small universe. You know, I've one critique of Chris Chan over the years. It's that other artists generally, as time goes by, their art style reforms, it refines, it improves, it changes. Chris Chan has been the most consistently shite artist for so long. I'm half tempted to commission them though, just to see how well they do my avatar. Tweet from Count Dankula. I have a new daughter. Hamza, if it's white, it's shite. Yusuf is now the leader of the SMP, and Chris Chan is out of prison. Hell of a week. The Quartering. Red alert. Chris Chan has been bonded out of prison and is now on the loose. God can't save you. In this instance, that message is directed, I would assume, solely at Barb, Chris Chan's mother. Is there a restraining order in place to protect Barb's from Chris Chan's wrath? 2 or 3 fingers worth of wrath? I am curious. On to another person trending on Twitter, Charles Bronson. Now they've been trending for a little while because their parole hearing was very recently. They have been in prison for 48 years of their life. They haven't been a murderer. They haven't sexually assaulted anyone. They have not committed an act of terrorism in any way, shape or form. In fact, a lot of the problems they've created have happened in prison. Some exterior, yes, but most of it interior. The guy's old, alright? He once gave Tom Hardy some fantastic advice because they spoke to each other over the phone. A video of Tom Hardy speaking about that conversation was shared over Twitter. He mentioned that Bronson has said to him, sometimes you have to cut a piece of yourself off to grow. He then took the quote with more to it that Bronson had passed on to him and then snuck it into the film Legend, which is pretty cool to be honest. Very cool. My view is Charles Bronson should be allowed out now. He is not a danger to the public, no matter how much others try and drum it up that he is. He's only a danger to people who are dickheads. And at his age, he's not as much of a danger as he used to be, alright? Let him get his bus pass and enjoy his twilight years. Alright? Guy's a reasonably talented artist, by the way. Well, Charles Bronson was initially trending because Sky News had tweeted, Charles Bronson will learn tomorrow if he's persuaded the parole board to free him after 48 years in jail. Quote, from a voice message, they keep effing drumming it into the public, I'm a danger. As I went to archive it, Sky News. Britain's most notorious prisoner Charles Bronson to remain in jail following a public parole hearing. I fundamentally disagree with that ruling. What swayed them would include people like Kerry Danes, who'd said that he should probably stay where he is and be given a gradual introduction to open conditions. The problem is, he doesn't like any of the prisoners. He doesn't like them because most of them are absolute dickheads, in there for some of the worst crimes ever, and he wants to hurt them. He becomes the prison's vigilante. He'll never be allowed out, because he's never been a danger to the public, by the way. He's only ever been a danger to those inside. That also includes some of the guards as well, who cross lines. I don't agree with the ruling, solely because I think at his age, 70, he should be allowed out. Alright? Just stop with this nonsense of going through phases and needing to be given gradual reintroductions. He's not going to like the people there, so you're intentionally keeping him there and wasting more taxpayers' money, keeping him somewhere where he no longer belongs. Alright? So some YouTubers that are also on Twitter have to skirt certain lines very carefully. If you cross certain lines, you run the risk of being yeeted off those platforms. I have been very careful for many years. On Twitter, YouTube, I have gotten very few strikes. I've rarely gotten warnings. I've never lost an account because I play the game and I like doing that. I like having my presence, and having already built an audience, I don't want to lose it. Life of a Free Spirit is quite vocal. She, as a YouTuber, is incredibly vocal about her disdain towards many things. Her life has become a bit of a mess. Lolcow-worthy with many pages on certain forums. This mess is of her own making. That mess is also what pays her bills sometimes. The way she treats other people in her personal life and online is a testament to just how toxic her behavior is. An ego undeserving. I mention this because I saw one back and forth arguments here with Yaba. This is still ongoing, and I've criticised that before because it all devolved down to race, which it never was in the first place. But her behaviour has gotten so bad, with threats of unalive, violence, harassment, other things I can't mention, although unalive is quite a dark line to walk, that she ended up getting suspended on Twitter. Prior to being suspended, she was hiding behind blocks and being a dickhead. She allied herself with another creator called DC Media Girl, who is highly controversial, I guess, within that sphere of the internet right now. And I'll be honest, a lot of them need each other for those views, that attention, that credibility. I get it. I always find that with the negativity that you all seek to have because you just want to be right all the time, or you can't help but pick on the tiniest minute detail or something that perhaps you shouldn't touch because there's no optics where you ever look good, move away from it and take a nice deep breath, calm your tits and have a biscuit. Merch on Teespring. Her suspension is not at any point a surprise. It is not a surprise because, let's face it, if you are going to make those threats on places like Twitter, you are going to get into trouble. But then again, I'm surprised you didn't get yeeted when you think because you are a minority person, ethnicity-wise, you can use words that are considered quite taboo now, not race-related, but words that are related to sexuality, for example. I, for example, love to eat Mr. Brains with mashed potato and gravy. I can't call Mr. Brains by their actual name though because I'll get into trouble. I guess the moral of the story here is, if you're going to be on social media, if you do it because you want to be yeeted, or you do it because you want an argument, you do it because you want to hold true to your claimed convictions, by all means do so, but know that the consequence of that will in turn harm your ability to be as present on other platforms where you could otherwise thrive. These arguments are nowhere near as important as you think they are. Next, we're going to go to an article tweeted by Casually Greg. There's a difference between being a tradwife and a doormat, ladies. Included is an article from the Daily Mail. I live to please my husband. Tradwife reveals she lets her spouse have sex with other women while she cooks, cleans, and caters to his every whim, admitting 98% of her day revolves around him. That is not a trad wife. No, while infidelity is quite common and certainly was during the era of the more socially accepted trad wife, don't try and tell me it wasn't a thing then. No. Having him sleep around and you being okay with it is definitely not a part of being a trad wife. If it was the other way round, he'd be a cuck, which makes you one too. Congratulations! I figured I'd insert one more completely off-topic, strange to introduce, but I'm going to introduce tweet before we go to creator clash as a final thing. She Rage Princess of Pain. Admit it, how many of you have I made gay? A retweet of Bizlet. If you're attracted to her, you're a latent homosexual. Sorry, I don't make the rules. I have no idea who the lady in the picture is, or why if anyone finds her attractive, they have to suddenly be considered latent homosexual, or how that could be considered a bad thing at the same time. I'm a little confused by all of this. This kind of stuff belongs in like most people's teenage years, where if someone liked something a little masculine, which is where I'm assuming this is going, those muscles and all that, the other things that make Vince hard, Vince being Vince McMahon, are somehow an indicator of homosexuality. On the 25th of March 2023, Keemstar had tweeted out that iDubbbz's mother-in-law had asked for Froggy Fresh to be removed from Creator Clash. Creator Clash is a boxing event. The more recent one did quite well. I was hoping to see iDubbbz and RiceGum finally throw down the gloves, but they didn't because RiceGum's a bitch who wanted too much money. iDubbbz fought someone else, and he did surprisingly well. I didn't actually believe he would survive it, but he did. Congratulations. Included in Keemstar's tweet are two screenshots. One are retweets from Froggy Fresh. The Pied Piper is the in-law, who has since gone to deactivate. Oh whoa, what do we have here? You're right, Creator Crash. Froggy Fresh on their Twitter account have been quite vocal about Creator Clash too, and there's a reason why. You see, Creator Clash on their Twitter account have removed Froggy Fresh from competing against Chris Raygun on the event. This is a problem. Now, kicking him out, which has been noticed by Charlie Moist Critical for Twitter controversy after months of training, is brutal. I don't think any jokes he made were intended to be mean-spirited or to dunk on anyone. Hopefully they reconsider. Let's just continue with that, because they also had tweeted under theirs, Creator Clash that is, under their initial rescheduling part tweet. Creator Clash's goal is to make an inclusive and fun environment for creators and fans while giving back to charity. Replies turned off. Inclusive seems like a bit of a strange word to be using when you won't then let the fans engage with you on this. Froggy Fresh retweeted another statement from Creator Clash, who in their statement had said, "As you may be aware, we recently announced Froggy Fresh would be leaving the Creator Clash 2 ticket. We want to provide some additional information around the rationale for this decision to help clarify some of the online chatter. We have a legally binding code of conduct that each of our Creator Clash 2 fighters are held to, the violation of which is grounds for termination. Unfortunately, there were several violations made by Froggy Fresh during his tenure with Creator Clash this year. The Creator Clash 2 team, inclusive of the production company, takes violations seriously and made several unsuccessful attempts to address them directly with Froggy Fresh in the hopes we could work together to get things back on track. When it became clear the exhibited behavior wasn't stopping at risk to the other fighters, fans and others involved at the event, the Creator Clash 2 team made the collective decision to move forward without Froggy Fresh on the ticket. Blah 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 blah. Let's just go with the next paragraph. Donated 50k for each of Froggy Fresh's supported charities. for a total of 100,000. Yay. His retweet. Are you talking about when Ian called me the third time ever, 15 minutes after Sam Hyde retweeted me, to investigate my friendship with Sam Hyde, and then asking that I don't release any content with Sam Hyde until after the event? Later on, I was never given any notice of violations. I got one email minutes before you went public about my termination. How sad does this make iDubbbz look? That any association with Sam Hyde is haram and worthy of being shermanated. A lot of money was spent by Froggy Fresh to train for this. A lot of money. While this may be for charity, you should at least reimburse him for that. A lot of time wasted getting ready to fight someone like Chris Raygun, which is quite sad really, because Raygun is pretty much a stick insect with glasses.